Just by Max, is it? Macy's?
Oh, yeah.
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 On the opposite side of the road?
Yeah. Just behind the KFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've made a point.
It's pretty quiet.
It's a long old way, mate, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Hopefully this works, bud. Tell you what, if this had been last night, mate, you would not have got me here last night. I don't know what the weather was like here, but laughing warmth last night was horrendous. Horrendous.
If you have any problems, I've got my spare mic.
Okay,
you have to hold it.
I bought a mic as well, spare one, just in case, mate.
Cause your hand to probably freeze off.
I'll try that one, bud.
Yep. Are you happy to do a quick another test, Sam?
1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. God, it's been a while, mate.
Right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Level's good. Yep. Perfect.
Good.
Gloves got me bobble at.
Good. I've got the gold next mic, so I'll go and put those out on the ground. Put on the stream. 2501. Avondale swung a few changes, but probably not surprising after they got held by St Albans.
trouble, huh? Trouble. Always trouble.
Beckons here for Avondale and the Dandenong Thunder.
As we say, opportunity beckons for Avondale and Dandenong Thunder tonight in the Dockerty Cup quarter-final. A spot in the semi-finals, the last spot available in the semi-finals of the State Victorian Cup, the Dockerty Cup. But not only that, it's the chance to get into the national round of 32 of the Australia Cup. The last remaining place is on the line tonight between these two sides. Coming to you from Paisley Park here in Altona North. Looking forward to your company over the 90 minutes. Avondale make 5 changes to their team that was held at home on Saturday against St Albans. And we see Stefan Zinni, Luca Tavir, Yute Towns, Aidan Bryce and Tom Manos all coming into the starting 11 at the expense of Stefan Valentini, Jordan Courtney Perkins, Mayan, Sian Cuba and Joey Katabian. He drops to the bench. The others, should I say, he is out of the squad. The others drop to the bench. And also in that starting 11 today is Dan Edwards, who scored on the weekend, Kalalu Kamara, Emlyn Wellsmore, Christian Trycheski, Yusuf Ahmed, and their talisman up top, Manny Agwick. Just 2 changes for Adam Pittick's Dandenong Thunder that went down by 2-0 at the league leaders at Olympic Village. On Friday evening, we see Wade Decker come into the starting 11, and Aidan Edwards as well comes into midfield for Jay Romanovsky and Mohamed Salamovsky. Jamie Young in goals. That back three of Mehmedi, Van Ommering and Alessi. Kyle Taylor also in midfield. Suleimani, Clark, Yoshida, and the target man, Hassan Jallo. Thanks for your company on the Football Victoria live stream tonight. Looking forward to bringing you all of the action. My name is Steve Curtin, and it's a pleasure to welcome to the broadcast tonight my old mate. It's Craig Filer. Good evening.
Good evening, Steve. How are we?
Very well, and excited for this one. It's going to be a cool evening here, but the action on the field should be red hot because there's so much at stake here. There's an almost opportunity for presenting for Sevilla.
Yeah, it looks it's going to be a cracking game, Steve. Both teams doing very well in the league. Obviously, get a break from that tonight as they look to get into not only the semi-final, as you said, but also the final stages of the Nationals, which is always a big achievement for any football club. Yeah, two teams who really know how to play football, and looking forward to this one.
And it would be a historic night as well. Dandenong Thunder haven't made that stage before, the national round of 32. Avondale 3 forays into that particular competition, round of 16 in 2021 and 2022, and the quarterfinal in 2018, where they were eventually beaten in extra time by Sydney FC. Stefan Zinni, who was in the matchday squad that evening, as well as Yite Towns, are both in the starting 11 tonight. They've been at the club for a number of years, so one thing about this Avondale squad under Zoki Markowski, not too much turnover of players in recent times. Yoshida trying to get the better of Daniel Edwards, who's moved out to left back tonight. He's been utilised as a central defender, but the return of captain Aidan Bryce in central defence has allowed Edwards to move out to his more customary fullback position, and I presume he'll be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I would have thought so, Steve. Obviously, the Avondale have missed their talisman at the back and leader and captain of the club, Aidan Bryce. Edwards has done a fantastic job. I'll just hold off there.
Look at this combination at Stefan Zinni, who's already been in red-hot scoring form in this competition so far this campaign. He scored a hat-trick in the last round against Manningham United Blues. That was another Avondale home match played away from home. Of course, if you're wondering why we are out here tonight, Avenger Park only has training quality floodlights, so it was a mistake here by Yite Towns. He's gifted the ball to Ashida. I think that was an attempt on goal, but he scuffed his shot, and it runs harmlessly through to Tom Manos, who's taken his spot back in the sticks from Mine, who's a bit of a cup specialist, I suppose, for Zoki Markowski. He did get a league appearance on the weekend, but Tom Manos back between the posts. So plenty of experience when you bring Bryce and Manos back into your defensive line, Craig.
Yeah, look, the depth that they've got and the quality that they've got in this squad is fantastic, and you know, they can change at any one point. I've seen a few of their team sheets over the season, and it's quite scary what they have on their bench to bring on. But fair play to them. They're a good side, and this should be a real good test for them tonight.
It's been a bright opening to this. Both teams not looking like they want to die wondering tonight. Soleimani with the throw, taken quickly. And he finds Aidan Edwards, one of the two players that come into the starting 11. He was brought into the action during the first half last week for Mohamed Salamowski. I believe that was a tactical switch rather than an injury change. And here's the Thunder trying to build up through Ali Soleimani, the right wing back, who's motoring forward. And his pass is easily chopped off by Dan Edwards. Avondale trying to get on the front foot. Those substitutes tonight for Zoran Markowski, Massimo D'Argenio, Ethan Pisani, Stefan Valentini, Jackson Courtney Perkins, Mayan, the sub-keeper, and Sian Cuba, who was on target on the weekend. And it was also his free kick that rebounded out to Dan Edwards to score. Dan Edwards' third of the season. Not bad for a defender. For Adam Pittick on the bench, Liram Almazi, Jay Romanovsky, Mohamed Salamowski. As we said, both of those players did start on Friday night in the 2-0 loss to Heidelberg. Also, Jock Akuian, Ben McCauley is the sub-keeper, the Northern Irishman, and Angus Edwards, the youngster, gets an opportunity. Here's Tavir trying to supply the cross, and it was well blocked there by Mercer Mehmedi, the 24-year-old, defending the cross as if it were a shot. And here's the throw to be taken by Wellsmore. Wellsmore's had a positional switch too. He started as the left back last week. He's moved across to the right back. Of course, we saw him playing further up the field in the front three for Oakley last year. Here's Wade Decker, who's another player that we've probably seen further up the field. He's playing in the place of Romanovsky as the left wing back tonight.
Yeah, they Dandy Thunder have a pretty unique style of play and a setup. It's 3 at the back when they have the ball, and 4 or 5 when they haven't got a ball. I wonder if I'm sure he has. Zoki Markowski and his coaching staff would have looked at how they can transition quickly into those wide areas once they win the ball, but they do leave themselves open in those wide areas, and it'll be really interesting to see tactically how both sides go tonight.
Is that something you fancy we'll see, Craig, a little bit tonight? Maybe those overloads in the wide areas with Wellsmore and Zinni down this side? I
think so, and that's probably why Wellsmore's back in at that right back position. I think they're certainly looking to press high because they play with a 3. Which effectively is man on man at the top when they have the ball. So yeah, I think that'll be the game plan from Avondale tonight. But you got to watch them because they're very good on the counter attack the opposite way as well. Their movement is very, very good.
Going to ground was De Vere, and the free kick. Tonight's referee is Pulya Gadirian. Gives the free kick to Avondale in the centre circle. And he's assisted by Luke Genematis and Mato Brazil, and we've got Momcilo Veselinov as the 4th tonight. He's all rugged up there right in front of our broadcast position. We hope you're enjoying this on the Football Victoria live stream tonight. The last game of the Dockerty Cup quarterfinals coming away from Altona North here, Paisley Park. And it's Avondale getting on the front foot again. This is Tavere, one way then the other. He slides the ball into the 6-yard box. It's well away by Van Ommeringen, the Dutchman, with the clearance. 196 centimetres tall. He's a big unit.
I was just going to say he's a big lad and very, very good on the ball as well. Very comfortable. Has a lot of time on the ball. Makes space for himself. Yeah, very, very good player.
Players like that coming into your squad with that experience on the continent in Europe, playing in professional environments as well. No doubt he'll bring a lot of stability to the defence. But behind him as well, speaking of stability and experience, Jamie Young as well, we haven't mentioned too much tonight. He hasn't been involved. He gets a touch now. I saw him up close before the game. And it's fair to say, as you expect, he's still a pretty big unit as well himself, Jamie Young.
I was just going to say he's a unit as well. Having seen him up close twice in a week, a couple of weeks ago, he's a very big lad and keeps himself very fit. I think he's maybe 40, 39 at best, and he's still some keeper, very, very agile, and won't be long. I just wonder how long we see him sort of playing up on the halfway line as that fourth defender, which he likes to do.
And celebrating his 40th birthday later in the year, Jamie Young, and plenty of football in him left. Here's the sheet up. Kyle Taylor, advantage is the call here. Well played by referee Gadirian. Out wide. Oh, and the pass was a little bit too slick for Kyle Taylor as it came in from Suleimani. Nishida is still down on the turf, and we might even have a delay in play here as we check on the welfare of the Dandenong Thunder attacking midfielder Yuki Yoshida, the 24-year-old from Japan. 7 goals in the league so far this season, 9 in the cup. Really good signing coming across from Northcote City.
Yeah, coaching staff here. Sorry, Steve. The coaching staff, Adam Pittock in particular, is not very happy with that firm challenge. Referee did play the advantage, and quite rightly so, I think, in that situation. But it was a heavy tackle on the Dandy Thunder attacker. But thankfully, he's up on his feet and ready to go again.
He's back up, putting the pressure on Yusuf Ahmed, who's in possession here. Oh, there's real pressure on here from Wade Decker. Kalalu Kamara was good enough to read the play and win the ball back quickly. Another experienced figure at A-League level, Wade Decker laying in there. But here's Zinni with space and time to supply the cross. At the top of the box is Manny Agwek, who's been on fire in front of goal this season. But you wouldn't know it by looking at that attempt on goal. It just trickled to Jamie Young.
Yeah, and there's that highlighting what I spoke about a couple of minutes ago, where they're looking to play in through the channels. Fullbacks high, space opens up, and poor finish then from Manny Agwek, who's as you said, normally red hot from 6 yards out. Turn the ball over again here. Avondale giving wide position again.
Zinni looking to supply the cross again. He's got Decker to beat. Behind him is Wellsmore, gets it out of his feet and floats it into the back post area. Yusuf Ahmed might have been having his shirt tugged there by Suleimani. He's going to keep it in play over there in the far corner in front of the President's Room. Dan Edwards is back near the players' race, supplying some support. Here's Yitai Towns under pressure from Hassan Jallo. Good pressure from the Dandenong Thunder attacker, keeping Yitai Towns honest in possession. Edwards on the right peg. It's a crafty ball out in front of Tavir. Luca Tavir thinks he's kept it in, but Puigderian has signalled for a throw to the visitors.
Yeah, a good opening first 5 or 6 minutes, Steve. It's I think we're going to have a really high tempo cup game here. Both teams are going to want to win and get to that national stage, as we said. It is another game that probably they don't need at this stage, but it's a game that is well worth taking advantage of if you can. Having been in the Nationals last year, I know how much of an experience it is. So for any club to get into those the national stages of the National Cup is a fantastic opportunity.
It's a good little combination in the centre of the park from Kyle Taylor and Daniel Clark in the number 10 jersey out there. We hadn't called his name yet, but he's playing a little bit of a deeper role as well as to what we've seen him in the past. He's been deployed in the past as a number 9 and a second striker as well, but he's playing more of a midfield role at times tonight, dropping deep in there with Taylor. Here's Zinni. Now, chance for Trycheski. Again, he's got space to supply the cross. It's deflected a little bit behind Zinni. Agwek gives chase to try and win it back, and he does just that. This is Manny Agwek looking for options. Didn't really have a lot on. Edwards was making the run out wide, and look at the pace of Yuki Yoshida here. And he's got Hassan Jallo in support. A real tussle. Dan Edwards there, like a hurdler jumping over the top. This is Aiden Edwards. And Edwards out there for both sides tonight. Aiden Edwards in the number 6 jersey, playing as a deep-lying midfielder for Adam Piddick's side. Important role in the Piddick system, those 2 number 6s that they play in front of the back 3 that sit basically on a plane parallel with the wing-backs when they're building up play.
Yeah, they are. They're really important because they have to obviously protect that back 3 as well on transition.
Here's Taylor. Clark again, that man we mentioned, dropping deep. He's almost got a free roll floating around the pitch from left to right. Playing it out wide here is Daniel Alessi and Suleimani in a little bit of space, combining with Ishida. That's a really good duel between Ishida and Edwards. Ishida's frustrated, didn't get the free kick. And Dan Edwards is running away like he's stolen something here. This is Luca Tavir. Crosses the halfway line, enjoying his football. Getting the start tonight is Luca Tavir, making the move from Green Gully after playing under Adam Piddick, of course, a couple of seasons ago. And what a player he was in that Port Melbourne Sharks side, and playing as one of those 2 number 10s in behind Chris Duggan back in the day.
Yeah, he was fantastic back at Port a couple of seasons ago. He's a very good, intelligent football player. Likes to get on the ball, likes to get facing forward and open up defences, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
Here's Zinni again. He's been racking up possessions on this near touch line. He decides to drift inboard this time. Agwek comes to feet. There's space this time for Wellsmore, so they're getting plenty of joy down this flank at the moment, Avondale. Tavir gets the ball in early. Defensive header by Van Amarungan. That hangs in the penalty area, and it's eventually scrambled away by those Thunder players. Oh, look at the flair from Aidan Bryce. He's back into the team, and he's playing like he's at number 10 in the free roll, but he's turned over possession. I failed to mention in the lead-up as well, Craig, if you're not following NPL Victoria closely, this is, of course, 2nd versus 3rd in the league, so their form precedes itself this season.
Yeah, 2, as I said earlier, Steve, 2 very, very good footballer sides. Both like to play football, very possession-based teams. Slightly more aggressive from an Avondale perspective, whereas Dandenong like to link up and play as many passes as they can and pride. But it's a great system and 2 very, very good footballing sides. I have to say, Adam Piddick's done a bloody fantastic job at Dandy Thunder in the sort of short time that he's been there. Came in towards the end of last year with the squad that they had and started slowly changing it, and had a full season with them. And yeah, fair play. He could be on for the Coach of the Year, Steve.
Who gets to cast their votes in that one?
Not sure. I'm not sure.
Well, he's done wonders.
There's a few candidates, isn't there?
Yeah,
so
there is.
Johnny A. and
Johnny A's been fantastic at Heidelberg this season. What a streak they've been on.
Yeah, they're a very good side as well. You know, very quick, very dynamic. It's a very interesting league this year.
Well, Hassan Jello is the man who's been receiving treatment. That is what the delay's for. Looks like he's going to be happy to continue here. He's back up on his feet and putting his gloves on. He's just moving pretty gingerly though still.
Yeah, they need him on the park. He scored some big goals this season for them.
It might be a good opportunity if he is okay to continue, which looks like he's going to just make a little jaunt over to the touchline before he's allowed to return to the fray. But it might just give Thunder a little bit of chance to reorganise, because they've been on the back foot a little bit in these opening exchanges. 16 minutes gone here at Paisley Park. 0-0 is the scoreline. And Avondale getting plenty of joy down the right flank with Stefan Zinni and Emlyn Wellsmore combining. Emlyn Wellsmore, no stranger to cup football. What a goal he scored for Oakley out of the home of the Matildas last year against Sydney FC, nonetheless,
yep,
to seal that win for the Oakley Cannons. The goal of his life, you'd imagine that would have felt like when that one went in.
See here the wingers for Avondale are staying as wide as they can and try and exploit that space in those wide areas. It's going to be key for them tonight, especially with the more central three that Dandy Thunder have in their defensive unit.
There's no doubt about that as Yoshida plays it back to Suleimani. The long ball doesn't quite work out, and Edwards, who's been racking up possessions as well at left back, definitely enjoying the opportunity to be freed from his central defensive duties that he's been controlling lately. Look at Trycheski go here, looking for Maniag, but trying to keep it in. And it crosses the byline and out of play. Adam Piddick with plenty of instructions for his charges.
Yeah, I think it's just playing football there in the wrong areas, and I think he's just telling Suleimani that he doesn't need the ball there, he doesn't want it. He's got a man very close to him, put it in the channels, and let's chase it.
Jamie Young on the left peg, sends it up the line. Hassan Jello is back out there again, giving chase. This is Yite Towns. It's a good switch of play to find Zinni from Kalilu Kamara. And again, as we've seen in the last couple of phases, Stefan Zinni keen to step inside and let those yellow boots do the talking. Here he is again, receiving from Tavia. And now Wellsmore. It's a good defensive action here from Wade Decker, and he just about got away without giving away the free kick. But with it being right in front of Zoran Markowski's technical area, that might have even swayed the decision for Puya Guderian.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was definitely a foul. I think Adam Piddick there is sarcastically clapping. I'm sure he's clapping his defenders. But yeah, two very good possession-based sides. And
well, we're being treated to an excellent exhibition of Victorian football here tonight in the Dockerty Cup, and the flag's up for offside this time. Can't have been by much. Yusuf Ahmed deployed down the left flank, as he was on the weekend against St Albans.
Yeah, good combination play as well. Yeah, worked it across the back four into those wide areas again, and little combinations into those to try and create those little spaces in behind. We're going to see a lot of that tonight from Avondale.
Dandenong Thunder subs warming up to our left. It's 9 degrees is the current temperature here in Altona North. Here's Kyle Taylor, good first touch. He's forced to go back. He's Fan Amarongan.
9 degrees, yeah. Winter's certainly arrived with a bang, hasn't it, in the last week?
The weather during the autumn phase of the football season was absolutely fantastic. Commentating in a t-shirt and shorts at times.
Yeah.
Be a brave man to attempt that tonight here on the gantry at the home of Altona Magic here. Edwards forced to go back. Aidan Bryce. Good opportunity for Bryce to find some touch back in the team. Yusuf Ahmed dropping deep to pick up possession, and he can switch it here in acres of space as Emlyn Wellsmore, and in front of him is Stefan Zinni. See the chalk on his boots as he picked up possession, and he cuts inside again. You might want to let this one run for a corner kick, and it will be the first corner of the evening going the way of Avondale, and we'll get to see what they've been working on the training ground for this opportunity at the railway end, or the Ross Road end, the southern end here of Paisley Park.
Again, you can see exactly what their playing style is going to be. It's getting it into Zinni as quick as they can, try and leave him 1v1.
It's going to be Tavir to take. Manny Agwick and Yui Ahmed trying to crowd Jamie Young, who is a physical presence. He's not the tallest keeper, and he used all of his available height and vertical leap there to touch that one behind for a follow-up corner kick, this time from over on the President's Room side of the venue.
Yeah, he's deceptively big, is Jamie Young. He doesn't look it in height, but certainly in stature and physicality, he's a big boy.
Franceschi in the long sleeves. It's a driven effort this time, and Kalalu Kamara gets on the end of it. Oh, there's some issues here with trying to clear the ball. Kamara, good save,
Great
Young.
save.
Down to his right, denying the big centre-back, who puts his hand to his head in disappointment.
Well, that's a great save. You would have saw that very, very late. Steve coming through a crowd of players, got his big frame down and parried it away. And it's another corner to Avondale.
Floated into the back post area again. And they'll just about scramble it away this time through Clark. Well, Jamie Young must have had X-ray vision to see that through that crowded penalty area, Craig. I don't know how he's done that, and Kamara was devastated that he didn't see his shot make the net ripple there to give the Avengers a lead in this cup tie and 1 foot in the next round of the cup competition.
Yeah, Steve, we've seen it so many times over the years, haven't we? For whether it's Brisbane Roar or Melbourne City, he's been phenomenal over in the 13 years I've been here. He's been one of the best keepers I've seen.
I always remember that save that he made for Western United in the final series at Amy Park against Wellington Phoenix, where the ball, it felt like it was a metre behind him, and he stuck the right arm out somehow and dragged it back from crossing the goal line. He might have been about to be called upon then again.
Yeah, it was the Gordon Banks of Australia, that one, wasn't it?
It really was.
It was, yeah. Yeah, Avondale certainly putting the pressure on in these early parts of this game. 22 minutes in and having a lot of possession, creating a fair bit, with the defence of Dandy remaining strong.
Well, the Thunder, they were trying to start equally as aggressive, but they just couldn't really maintain the possession and have that cutting edge, and they've been pegged back as a result. This is a Lessie. Oh, look at that clearance. It's been charged down by Manny Agwick.
Looked like handball to me.
They're lucky to get away with that one then, perhaps, and the free kick is now going to go the way of the Thunder.
And it's interesting for Thunder because, you know, they'll want to play a lot higher up the park. Avondale are pushing them back, and of course they can't be too open early doors because of the pace and the flair that Avondale have in that final third. So it's certainly going to be a case of cat and mouse, I think, throughout this. And
it's long on the left peg by Young. Ishida looking to pick up a little knockdown header. Thunder do win the throw in an advanced position here with the city skyline in the background. They can try and put some pressure on the defence of the Avengers, who've been largely untroubled. Particularly the big central defenders, Bryce and Kamara, haven't really looked like they've broken a sweat yet. Here's Ishida. It's away by Bryce. Not a lot of power on the attempt by Ishida. It was from a standing start admittedly. Edwards' ball in. That was Aiden Edwards. Decker picking up the loose ball. Taylor now. Van Emerongen in the orange boots. Appropriate for a Dutchman as he passes it out to Alessi.
need to be a good player to play in orange boots, Steve. Hey, what's wrong with the black and white?
From the same copybook as yourself as well, Craig.
Yeah, mine had steel toe caps when I was playing. That's how long ago it was. But
Look at the skill from Trzeski in the middle of the park. He couldn't quite equal the good feet that he had in the middle with the through pass, and they turn it over. Taylor draws a crowd, holds them off well. Clark to Wade Decker, looking to get forward from the left wing back position. It's a tussle with Wellsmore, and he had a handful of the blue shirt, and it's going to be a free kick, an easy decision there for referee Gadirian. It's a small but dedicated crowd here tonight. Dandenong Thunder having to make the long trip from Melbourne's southeast to Altona Magic's home ground to take on Avondale tonight. And well, Avondale, they played that last home game in the Cup at BT Connor or Jenna Steele Stadium against Manning United Blues. I wonder if they factored playing it in here to make it even a little bit harder for their opponent.
No, apparently they were actually going to play it at Jenna Steele, but security apparently forced them to come to Altona.
No security breaches out here so far tonight, except for a few stray balls on the training park behind us. The kids are in action, going through their paces there, jumping through hoops and over the hurdles around the post. They got the cutout figurines there as well. It's all happening behind us, but no goals on the pitch here. That's what is going to matter at the end of the 90 here. And look, maybe these sides could go beyond that as well. And the Thunder, you were there when they went all the way to penalties against Green Gully 2 rounds ago in the Cup competition, Craig.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about it, to be honest with you, Steve. But yeah, look, that was a long night. It was a very frustrating night for both sides, but unfortunately for us at Green Gully, we just didn't manage to get it. Jamie Young pulled off some fantastic saves that night, and particularly in the penalty shootout, used his experience. But
it bounces up, and the cross was virtually a volley from Stefan Zinni. It was over the top of the back post area. It's kept in by Yui Ahmed, and here's a bit of space for Dan Edwards. Agwek, little 1-2. Edwards is making an enterprising run into the box. He just couldn't quite pick him out, and he might have been clean through there on a tight angle. Dan Edwards for another goal-scoring opportunity for the defender. Yeah,
it'll be. You're talking about 90 minutes there and potentially going longer, Steve. I don't think any of the teams will want that. It's a busy fixture period coming up, and you know the last thing they want is extra minutes to be played. So I'm sure they'll both look to try and get this done in the 90.
Here's Tavir. Pressure from Van Amerungen. Tavir keeps his feet and keeps possession. Nice little pirouette in the box from Agwek, but it was a good bit of defending. Getting back was Ali Suleimani, the right wing back, for the cover. Great and Trojewski's got in behind here, and Young was quickly off his line to block the danger. Yeah,
saw that very, very quickly. Jamie Young was off his line. Fantastic little ball in behind the defensive unit there of Dandy Thunder, but Jamie Young equal to that and stopped an almost certain goal there.
So it's going to be another corner kick opportunity here for the Avengers, and the big man wander forward towards the back post area. Bryce and Kamara.
Everybody back for Thunder.
Always the call at the near post. It's Manny Egwek making that jump awkwardly in front of the eye line of Jamie Young.
Yeah, I don't think I would have headed that if Jamie Young's come in at the back of me either, Steve, to be fair. I'm sure Manny Egwek ducked.
You can hear him yelling out Kiefer from up here. Sounds like a sensible manoeuvre. So 0-0 approaching the 30-minute mark here. Steve Curtin and Craig Filer with you. Dockerty Cup quarter-final time. The final quarter-final of 2025, and we've already seen the cup set last week. Nunawading City of the third tier beating Hume City, a top 6 side in the top tier. Heidelberg United, a professional performance to breeze past Northcote City of the VPL 1. 2-0 last week, and we also saw South Melbourne do it the hard way down at Frank Holohan, going the full 120 and winning on spot kicks. And Harvey Lopez is a real asset in those situations. Here's Wellsmore. Tavir, one-on-one with Taylor. Yusuf Ahmed, not on the same page as Wellsmore, and they cop up possession. And sliding in, there was Emlyn Wellsmore, and taking evasive action there, Aidan Edwards jumped a couple of feet up into the sky to avoid that sliding challenge.
Yeah, there's a few tackles that have gone in, and Pua's just Just reiterated to the Dandy team, that's the last one. I'm sure the next foul that comes in, there will be a yellow card issued. He's obviously trying to let the game go, and it's a big game, so you want to try and keep everybody on the park, but just needs to make sure that it's kept within the rules of the game.
Avondale had Blake Carpenter sent off in the 92nd minute in the second half stoppage time at Avenger Park against St Albans on the weekend. So he's one of those players who's not available to them tonight. And hopefully we do see, as you mentioned, Craig, both sides finishing this one 11 v 11. So the Thunder just having a bit of trouble getting it out of their own half, but we've known that they can score quickly once they get a full head of steam up. And they've scored 40 goals in the league this season. They've banged in a few in the Cup too. 3-1 winners against Whittlesea United in the round 6 of the Cup competition in their last Cup outing. Clark Taylor and Romanovsky all on the scoreboard there. If you knew your name at NPL level, Corey Thomas was on the score sheet for Whittlesea United that evening down in Melbourne Southeast.
Glad to see a fellow Welshman getting on the score sheet.
Any score sheet references for the Welshman to my right here would be related to the golf course these days.
Yeah, well, it's certainly my go-to at the moment for my relaxation.
Here's Yite Towns. Bit of pressure coming from Thunder now. And so Thunder play it down, and play on's the call from Puya Gadirian. Avondale are going to keep driving forward through Wellsmore. And it's Hassan Jallo that's down on the floor. And getting back to make the defensive intervention. Again, Ties van Amerongen. Hassan Jallo was wondering why he didn't get the free kick. He's got his hands up in the air.
Yeah.
Adam Piddick not impressed.
Neither of the Dandy fans to our left, Steve. They're up in arms. They've had 2 or 3 challenges now that they believe should have been dealt with, but
oh, and it's off the post from Zinni. My word. Well, Thunder was nearly caught cold there, and they've got to concentrate again here. It's again repelled by that Thunder defence. Well, Jamie Young was beaten, and it was back off the upright.
We've seen some goals this season in NPL football, Steve, but if that had gone in, I think we'd have been talking about that for some time, because that's...
Oh, my gosh.
Whether he meant it or not, Stefan will say that he did, for sure. But,
look at the nutmeg there on Mehmeti. Well, he wasn't really far in from the byline, to be fair. On the right foot is almost the impossible goal that would have been had that gone in. Of course, yeah, there would have been some debate as to whether that was anywhere near his intentions.
Yeah, what do you think he's going to say?
Nice little pass out in front of Trajewski, who wasn't flagged for offside, but his first touch let him down. It's not too often that you see that from Christian Trajewski. Well, in the head-to-head between these two sides, Avondale definitely got the upper hand. 10 wins out of their 14 meetings. They haven't met in a cup tie before, so this is their first meeting outside of the league competition, and Jamie Young's going to drive them forward here again, the Thunder, down the far side. Yoshida receiving from Suleimani. And again, it's a good defensive shape without possession by Avondale. There's not a lot of options to pass through this wall of blue shirts, it seems, at the moment, Craig.
No, it's... I mean, Avondale's, as you said, their possession when they're out of, when they haven't got the ball is just hold off here, Steve.
Well, this is a good little move, just as we say that. Taylor goes down, and the Thunder fans, they want a spot kick. They're not going to get one, though, and Kyle Taylor's
Steve,
still on the floor. We'll watch that one again, Craig.
Yeah, need to have a look at that one. That was extremely close. There was certainly a touch on Carl, and it was in the box, so I'm not sure why it wasn't given, or the referee.
Suleimani's cross is...
Yeah, that's... give the benefit of the doubt to the referee, but for me, that's a penalty.
Very much a close call.
There's contact there.
Yitay Towns coming across.
Yeah, there's contact there, and it's in the box. So maybe Avondale got away with that one again, as Adam Piddock's just received a yellow card.
It's the first booking of the evening. Goes the way of the manager for the Thunder. Not impressed with the decision to wave play on when Kyle Taylor was brought to the floor by Yitay Towns. It was a really good move by Thunder. Full credit to Piddock's side for that little build-up. A little 1-2. They're doing the defensive duties here again. Alessi. It's out of play over near the bar on the far side.
Yeah, we'll have a good look at that.
We'll have another look. You can always pause and rewind the live stream here. A really good little back heel from Wade Decker to create the opportunity. A little bit of deception from the experienced former Melbourne City attacker.
Yeah, the Dandy City coaching staff just feel that things are going against them at the moment.
They've certainly been on the back foot in the balance of play, and I feel they've been on the back foot on a bit of a raw deal and some of the decisions so far.
But that's what Thunder can do to you, Steve. You know, they've been on the back foot, as you said, for majority of the game. But you know, with a blink of an eye, they're in there in the opposite penalty area, creating and causing havoc. So Thunder just need to be mindful of that. Like you said, it's second versus third, so they know dummies. They know each other very well. They're at the top of the NPL ladders for a reason.
Here goes Zinni, the flying winger. Van Amerongen blocks the shot. Had the hands behind the back. There was no chance of a handball there. The ball is out of play now. Thunder did get the better of Avondale in their last meeting as well. Down at George Andrews, a 2-1 win earlier in the season. They're doing the defending here again. Zinni put his foot through that one, and it might have been a conversion if that was another sport, but Jamie Young was untroubled. Yoshida and Daniel Clark, the goal scorers in that one, scoring either side of a Dan Edwards strike, which was late in the first half. So, yeah, only 3 wins for the Thunder in their head-to-head meetings.
Yeah, there's not many teams come away from George Andrews with a result. It's a very, very difficult, intimidating place to go and play football, that's for sure.
No doubt about that. Here they come on the attack now, the Thunder. This is Clark. Trying to feed it out in front of Yoshida, but it was read best by Dan Edwards. He's going to escort that one over the byline, no problems for the former Port Melbourne defender, another player who played some great football under Adam Piddock at the Sharks, down at JL Murphy Reserve, and they're a team under fire this season. There's still plenty of opportunity left in the league with the transfer window opening as well on this time next week. That'll be
Tuesday, yep.
That'll be just popping open that window, so maybe some signings in the gun for clubs that are chasing survival, chasing promotion, chasing titles and chasing finals.
Yeah. Be interested to see how many transfers are actually made, given the fact that next season those rule changes come into place, and that'll change the landscape of every club, I think, in Victorian football, certainly at the top level.
We'll watch this space for that one as Trycheski floats this one in. Agwek getting to the fall of the ball. It was good defending by Ali Suleimani over there at the back post. Not the tallest figure out there in red and black, but he held his ground well and nodded it behind for an Avondale corner kick. What's the early read on those changes, Craig? Do you think we'll see big changes for the way clubs go about their recruiting in the future as a result?
Yeah, well, I think they're going to have to, Steve, because we'll just hold off until the corner's taken.
Well, it's in by Trycheski. It's the in-swinger and Jamie Young. No problems there, and you can hear it sticking between the gloves.
Yeah, just going back to your question, I think it will change everything, Steve, because, you know, obviously next year the rule changes are that, you know, you have to have on your actually it's going to 18 next year on the match day squad. 5 of those have to be under the age of 23, and 3 of those have to be 2 of those out of the 5, 3 have to be homegrown, and they have had to be at the club for 36 months, and 2 of the 5 have to be under the age of 20. So I think clubs are going to have to really sit down and plan what their squads, because I don't think you're going to see teams with 23, 24 and have your bench stacked, because they're not going to be able to put them on the matchday squad. So yeah, it's a real sea change for Victorian football.
It's a good ball by Towns for Stefan Zinni. He's going to try and cut this one back for Agwek. And what a good bit of defending by Dan Alessi there as he collides with the net.
Yeah, great play from Stefan Zinni, great ball in, but I think, you know, from Manny Agwek there, I think a little bit of movement from him in that box. He probably could have got on the end of that. I think he made a straight run towards the back post, and the ball was played centrally, and of course there was nobody there, and it was cleared from the Dandy defenders.
Well, they've been under the pump, but Mercer Mehmedi, Tees, Pan Amarungan and Daniel Alessi in front of Jamie Young have been colossal so far to repel every single Avondale attack so far, and there's been many in this first half as we approach the half-time break here at Paisley Park, with the score locked at 0-0 in this cup tie. Oh, sliding in there. Alessi going down as Agwek. Avondale gets some complaints filed in to Puya Gadiri, and here Agwek still down. Catch that replay again, Craig. It's going to be a Thunder throw, so there's no free kick for the challenge.
No, it was a big challenge.
It was a big challenge. I said sliding, and it wasn't really a slide either. It was.
No, you think he got the ball? It was just a heavy challenge.
Loving that ability to just zip back and look at those replays on the live stream here. No doubt you are at home as well. You can be the referee from the comfort of your own lounge room.
And you won't get shouted at. Yeah?
Yes.
You have none of the abuse, you can be your own ref. Who'd be a referee, eh?
Maybe the chance here for Tavia. Oh, good save, Young.
What a save.
Wow, Luca Tavia thought he'd opened the scoring there. Jamie Young, this time with the left mitt.
Steve, that's just an incredible save.
He's already used the right to telling effect.
He's the way that Luca Tavia there has just dropped the shoulder, brought it in on his left, put it into that bottom corner. That's some save from Jamie Young.
Oh, it was a good bit of skill by Tavia to getting it out of the right foot and onto the left, open up space for the shot. But Jamie Young, well and truly equal to the attempt again. Just turning it past the upright. Amazing goalkeeping from the 39-year-old. It's just like a fine wine. It just gets better with age.
I was just going to say, Steve, you know, the way that he looks after himself as a 39-year-old goalkeeper, you know, played at the top level, of course. I believe he was at Arsenal as a youngster as well in the UK, and, you know, being obviously in the A-League for a number of years, but to keep in shape, to keep wanting to play at 39 years old when I'm sure he could be on the golf course or fishing or doing something else is an absolute credit to him, and a lot of the youngsters could certainly take note of how he looks after himself, Steve, that's for sure.
Well, here's the ball out to Ishida, Yuki Ishida. Oh, he sent Wellsmore for a hot dog, and he floats it into the penalty area. That's away by Kamara. So a meaningful attack here by the Thunder. Out wide is Suleimani, receiving from Alessi, trying to get around his opponent, which was Yusuf Ahmed. Just running out of room there at the golf course end of the venue.
You say golf course, Steve?
Yeah, we've got Altona Lakes to our left here.
Yeah, lovely little course that.
I'm not sure if it's up there with the course near Pittsburgh where the US Open's just finished up in wet conditions yesterday morning.
Yeah, some finished that as well.
What an amazing putt to.
What a way to win
Seal
$4.5
that.
million in your first Masters title.
Pretty decent payday, that one.
Yeah, I'd say.
Well, there might not be quite as hefty payday on offer for the Dockerty Cup this year, but a spot in the semi-finals is available to one of these sides. At the moment, we're locked at 0-0 still here. Stefan Zinni on the overlap is Wellsmore. Goes to ground. Lost his footing on the slippery turf. Here's Clark, who decides to turn and try and play forward, but tenacious by Tavia. A little bit scrappy, but defensive effort there, and that just about was a one-hander there for Sam behind the camera.
It's a point you didn't header that, Steve, to be honest with you. Would have been handball if you did.
Maybe we can have a chat to our stats man to fudge the numbers a bit and give us one up here as well. Into first half stoppage time here. We've had a couple of injury delays for Hassan Jallo, who has received treatment. Zinni's touch evaded him, but it doesn't matter. He had space, and Mercer Mehmedi's going to knock it out of play. So this might be just about the final act of the first half. This corner here, should I say, this throw to be taken by Wellsmore. Certainly hope you're enjoying this contest. Somewhere nice and warm. It's been an entertaining one for us up here in the broadcast position. And Avondale do win themselves another corner, of which they've had many in this first half. Attacking the railway into the venue. It's taken quickly by Trychesky, who drives it into the top of the box. It's cleared away by Taylor. And that will be half-time here at Paisley Park. A really entertaining first half. Neither side with a goal to show for their effort. A lot of attacking endeavour by Avondale, and the Thunder, well, they've held up strong, and Jamie Young's been sensational out there.
Yeah, look, a good first half of football. That, as I said right at the start, two very, very good footballing sides, both different styles of football. But the difference has definitely been Jamie Young in that Dandenong Thunder goal. Two fantastic saves, and on another day, you know, Avondale could be 2-0 up, but they go into the sheds at half-time all square. A lot of soul searching, a lot of thinking for the coaching staff to do, and looking forward to a second half that, you know, see there, Dandy Sender no shots, and just Avondale with just the 3. So whilst they had a lot of possession, they didn't have many opportunities to shoot. So yeah, an interesting game of football.
Well, there's a long way to go on this one. Someone's got to advance tonight, though, whether we're finishing the 90, the 120, or if we go to pens as well. So we're going to take a short break here from Paisley Park. Go and pop the kettle on and make yourself comfy and get settled in for a very, very big second half. We look forward to your company. Sam behind the camera, Craig Filer and myself, Steve Curtin, back with you for a big, big, big second half of this Dockerty Cup quarter-final between Avondale and the Dandenong Thunder. We're at half-time here at Paisley Park. We are locked at 0-0. Hello and welcome back for the second 45 of this Dockerty Cup quarter-final. We're locked at 0-0 at the moment between Avondale and Dandenong Thunder as these sides press for a berth in the final four of the Dockerty Cup for 2025. And in addition with that, a spot in the national round of 32 in the Australia Cup, which would be a first foray into that tournament by the Dandenong Thunder. If they were to get through, it would be a fourth for Avondale. Lots to play for here between these two sides, who sit in second and third in NPL Victoria, looking to enjoy some cup success as well as some good fortune in the league as well. Steve Curtin with you alongside me. Welcome back to the broadcast position for the second 45. Craig Filer.
Thank you, Steve. Yep, looking forward to a big second half here. As I said in the first half of the commentary there, I don't think anybody wants to get past that 90-minute mark and extra time and potentially penalties. So I'm sure we're going to see a really exciting second period. No substitutions at the moment. So it's the same starting 11 for both sides. And we'll see tactically who comes out on top in this in the second period.
Well, if there's any good news for these sides, if we do go the distance tonight, they both have a little bit of time off until their next game, which is on Sunday for both of them. Avondale got a Sunday afternoon fixture away at BT Connor Reserve or Jenna Steele Stadium against the Preston Lions. And Dandenong Thunder play South Melbourne at Lakeside Stadium at 5 o'clock after the earlier game between Avondale and Preston is at 3 o'clock. What a Sunday doubleheader that is.
Yes.
Setting up a good spot on the couch Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, can't be let Mrs. Filer know that Sunday's blocked out, I think, because that settee and that fire is going to be on Sunday afternoon. I'm not going to be moving, but it's a big game of football. Two big games of football. I wonder why we're both on a Sunday.
It's interesting, but certainly a good occasion last Sunday for Victorian football. Here's Yoshida. Jello was lurking, so the Thunder asking one or two questions of this Avondale defence that was largely untroubled in the first 45.
Yeah, that would certainly have, I think, been the instructions from Andy Piddock in the Adam Piddock, sorry, in the change rooms at half time. If we look at the opportunities that Dandy had and the shots on target and the corners that they have, they didn't really threat the Avondale goal at any point in that first half. So that'll be, I would imagine, what Adam Piddock's told his players is to get at that defence as much as they can.
So on we go here. It's the Avondale 4-3-3 system against the Dandenong Thunder 3-4-2-1 under Adam Piddock against Zoki Markowski, and it's been an entertaining encounter so far, and they might have opened the door almost here for Manny Agwick, who doesn't need an invitation to score. A shove by Aidan Bryce. Yep. And Thunder can work their way up the park here with the free kick to Hassan Jello, who's had a bit of a tough time in attack tonight. He's suffered quite a few fouls, and some of them have been given, and he's been frustrated that one or two hasn't, but he's definitely felt the burn for this one to win the free kick in the centre of Paisley Park.
Yeah, definite free kick. Probably one of the easiest he's had to do tonight, I think, from Aidan Bryce there. As we said, it's a tough job being a referee, Steve. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, and I don't think any amount of money could get me in the middle in a black outfit. That's for sure.
Well, Puya Gadirian, one of the great young officials in Victorian football, is doing a great job tonight out there. Here's Manny Agwick receiving from Yusuf Ahmed, and Teesfan Amarungan has put in an expert challenge there. So good, in fact, that he's ricocheted the ball off the outstretched boot of Manny Agwick and won the goal kick.
Yeah, good defending from the big Dutchman there, using those long legs and the speed that he has across the ground to clean up.
Just reads the game so well. The 26-year-old. Just one goal in the league this season. Smacked forward by Jamie Young, headed by Yui Ahmed. Headed back by Alessi. Some cute passing in here by the Thunder. Alessi again. Finds Van Amerongen. Forward by Taylor and Suleimani. Right on the touchline. Under pressure from Yusuf Ahmed. Good skill by Bryce. Finds Tavir. Congested part of the field, right in front of our broadcast position here on the western side of the venue. These sides just feeling their way back into this encounter in the early stanza of this second half. Bryce with a switch of play out to Wellsmore on the far side. Trying to gallop up over the halfway line, and here's Zinni. We haven't seen too much of him since the halftime break. He's well tackled, but the challenge ricochets in favour of Ute Town, so his pass is straight to Kyle Taylor. So these sides exchanging possession in the early phase of this second half. Dan Edwards is blocked by Aiden Edwards. Sheeder just about kept that one in, and he did in fact. And it falls to Luca Tavir. He's been busy in a central midfield role tonight, playing as one of the 2 8s. Seen him play as a winger at Gully, as a 10 at Port Melbourne. Here's Trajewski, and well blocked by Alessi. He does concede the corner this time. So you can hear Jamie Young organising his penalty area here, organising his defenders. Everyone back in the box, taken quickly. Here's Tavir. He's going to drive this one in to the top of the 6-yard box. It was well away by Alessi. Late challenge there by Aiden Edwards on Emlyn Wellsmore, and he might go into the book. Yeah, you fancy. Might just be a talking to, though, is it?
Yeah, lucky to get away with that. It was Daniel Alessi.
Well, the challenge definitely came in late, as we see that one on the replay. So just a bit of a slow burn in the opening exchanges of this second half. Thunder, they just look a little bit more compact for me in this early exchanges as well since the break.
Yeah, I was just looking at it there, Stephen. It's they certainly there's no spaces in between, and we saw in the first half where Luca Tavir was just picking up those balls in those pockets, and as I said in the commentary there, was looking to get forward and face forward at every opportunity. Those little pockets are not there in this second half. So obviously they looked at that at half time.
Suleimani's put that one out onto the training pitch behind us. Dan Edwards is going to switch the play here. Now we've got 2 balls on the field. And Bryce acting as ball boy while the ball was in play. It's multitasking at its best. Here's Zinni. Going to ground was Van Amerongen, but he was still untroubled by the through ball as he was able to pick off the pass. And here's Tavir combining with Agwek. Kyle Taylor, who's been covering every bit of Paisley Park tonight. Expert defending from the central midfielder. Another player that brings a lot of experience into this Thunder team, Craig.
Yeah, great young player. Bought in by Adam Piddock this year from Bournemouth. I believe played a few games for Bournemouth in the Premier League. And is now applying his trade here in Victoria. So a very good player, very athletic, very clever on the ball, technically very good.
And he's no stranger to cup football. He's played for Bournemouth in the FA Cup against Wigan and against Brighton Hove Albion as well. Both of those matches, he was on the wrong side of the result. He'll be hoping for a change of fortune in this cup tie tonight. we've got a problem here. It looks like for Yusuf Ahmed.
Yeah, it looks like there'll be a substitution there. He's just holding the back of his hamstring there, Steve. Whether he's just cold or whether he's felt something, but I think we'll be seeing a substitution very, very shortly.
You might have felt the twang looking at the replay of that particular vision. He received the ball from a standing start with absolutely nobody near him. So is there anyone ready to come on? There's a couple of Avenger players to our right going through their warm-up routines.
Yeah, Zaki just having a word with Stefan Zinni to see if he's good. Obviously, he hasn't been playing a lot of football either. They've been alternating with their squad. So
the obvious replacement on the bench would be Stefan Valentini, who started on the weekend against St Albans.
Yeah, might look at Tavia a little bit deeper. Of course, Joey Kataman's not in the squad, who was you'd thought would come in as that sixth ball, but I think it will be Stefan Zinni will come in. Trajewski maybe Luka Tavia will drop a little bit. Trajewski will stay as that 10, and Valentini will come on the opposite wing.
Played short by Manos to Kamara. Wellsmer on the far side. We've had plenty of play on this near wing so far, and can confirm it is Stefan Valentini who is being readied to come on. Valentini, the scorer of the winning goal in Avondale's only ever Dockerty Cup triumph back in 2021 from the spot against Hume City at CB Smith Reserve back then. And it will be time for Valentini to enter the fray. So it's one thing for seeing an opponent forced off, but the scary thing for Thunder is the sight of the fresh legs of Stefan Valentini to be out there now as well. Here he is getting his first touch, and he's been shown no space and time there by Ali Suleimani, just letting him know that he's in for a tough, torrid battle.
Welcome to the game, Steph.
No nonsense there. Here's Suleimani. Aidan Edwards jinks past the challenge of Agwek. That one was a little bit difficult to control for Ali Suleimani, and Dan Edwards' ball up the line was miscued, so clanger for each player involved there. Here's Yoshida trying to find some brilliance down near the byline. Checks back, a nice outside of the foot, ball into the centre, finds Taylor. Little combinations here through Decker. Taylor again, Kyle Taylor going on a run. Can he find space for the shot here, Kyle Taylor? He's closed down by those.
Done very well to keep hold of the ball there. He's still got it.
Blue shirts, yeah. He's done really well. He puts it into the box.
Great head.
Good defensive header by Bryce. And it's away by Tavir, and a little bit more pressure coming the way of that Avondale defence. We said Dandenong Thunder, they're capable of soaking up a lot of pressure and then managing to find that sting in the tail, and Avondale have got to be aware of that. They've done the bulk of the attacking tonight, especially in the first half. Jamie Young with a couple of brilliant saves. You have just joined us. One to his left and one to his right. Classic Jamie Young. Short reaction time. Parry, one-handed parry. Probably been the two biggest highlights of the evening so far.
Yeah, two fantastic stops from the stopper, who's playing a little bit more of a reserve game tonight in terms of his positional. We played him in the 2 rounds ago in this cup. He was playing as a sweeper on the halfway line for most of the game.
He's not taking too many chances tonight compared to that particular fixture.
No. Particularly with the pace that Avondale have, the threat that they have in that final third.
So we've almost gone the hour here, and we're locked at 0-0. Will this game open up here with Valentini, the substitute, on the ball, and Agwek floating out to the left-hand channel. Here's Tavir getting onto that right foot, shaped to shoot, and then tried to play it through for Stefan Zinni, who drifted in from the opposite flank. And there's a good end-to-end tempo now as Yoshida comes the other way and combines with Taylor. Looking for options, he's forced to go back to Suleimani. Good little triangle here for Thunder. Suleimani, can he supply the cross? He gets the ball in. Well played Tom Manos, who was off his line, and Kalalu Kamara was marshalling Hassan Jello in any case.
Yeah, just heard Adam Piddock just say to the fullback, to the centre backs, right and left, to just get their head up, looking for those channels into those balls and get those wing backs into higher position. So maybe that's what we're going to be seeing a lot more of in this second period, is more longer balls in behind, try to get Dandy a little bit further up the pitch, and the Avondale defence facing their own goal.
No doubt that the Thunder tactics will get crafty as we get closer to the 90, and they've won themselves a free kick in a pretty handy position here as well. They haven't had too much to work off in the way of set pieces so far. Manos organising his troops ahead of him. Manny Agwork staying up on the halfway line.
I was going to say, one thing you do have in this game is you've got two very experienced goalkeepers who love to talk and do marshal and organise their defensive unit very, very well.
Yoshida with the shot. It was bouncing up and down through the penalty area, and Manos with the mitts out to field the ball and rebound Avondale into attack here through Wellsmore, who's got a full head of steam up as he motors down the flank and eventually wins a throw in front of the canteen over on the far side there. Altona Magic, the host club tonight, providing the hot food and drinks to those over there at halftime. As we said, it's a small but passionate crowd here, a small but dedicated crowd.
Yeah, it's not the warmest of nights to come out and watch a football match, but if you're at home and you're enjoying this top of the table Dockerty Cup game, it's a fantastic game of football, and just shows again why these two teams are doing very well in the league.
Valentini with the trickery to try and get past Suleimani. It's been a good duel between those two since Valentini came on only a few moments ago for a Yusuf Ahmed injury. He appeared to pick up a bit of hamstring awareness, possibly a strain, but hopefully something that won't keep him out for too long. Not a good night for those susceptible to a hamstring injury when we're dropping down to around 8 or 9 degrees here. But here's Manny Agwet with the opportunity across the face of the goal. And Stefan Zinni was making the running. Couldn't find the winger as he made the run inboard.
Yeah, probably could have kept that on the floor, I think, if it had been kept on the floor and whipped in. Stefan Zinni may have got on the end of that. It was a little bit too high for him, and then the Thunder come unscathed again.
Pressure again on Jamie Young, and he's calm and composed as he plays it out from the back.
Yeah, one thing you get with Jamie Young, and I've had the pleasure of being up close and to watching him play. He doesn't play very many long balls. He's very, very good on his feet. Sees the play well in advance of receiving the ball, which is a great trait to have. We talk to youngsters all the time about understanding what the next pass is before the ball's even come to you, and he does that in spades. So.
His composure has rubbed off on his teammates as they're enjoying a bit of possession here. Yuki Yoshida was on the march down the right-hand side a couple of times there. Making some good combinations with Suleimani and just trying to control the tempo a little bit and enjoy a little bit of possession because they've had to go large periods of this game without it. Ball floated up towards Yoshida, headed by Dan Edwards. It's picked up by Tavir. Valentini. Soleimani giving chase. Valentini goes to ground. Thunder not happy with the decision. So 65 minutes have elapsed in this one. Still locked at 0-0. Someone must advance tonight. Someone needs to find the net one way or another in this contest.
Sam, our cameraman, is hoping that it's not going to go to extra time because he wants a long sleep in tomorrow, apparently, Steve.
Well, wherever you're tuning in, I hope you've got that same luxury tomorrow morning. Good challenge by Alessi, concedes the corner. He's worked hard this morning at the bakery, has Sam. He's earned a lay-in tomorrow morning.
No kick, didn't bring anything with him, no? No donuts or... No? Ball. Another corner here for Avondale. Let's see if they can conjure up something. Another ball comes on the park.
Bit of a delay here with that second ball in the park. Well, Sam has brought the confectionery along tonight, I can see.
Must have kept them for himself, Steve, because I haven't seen any of you. Yeah, he's not biting, he's just concentrating on doing a great job for us here.
It's in by Trojczewski. Falls to Luka Tavir. It goes the long way around. Knotted out by Decker. Kamara's header, and here's Bryce. Everyone behind the ball for the Thunder, so Avondale are going to continue to recycle possession here through Dan Edwards. Trojczewski floats it in, the flick on, making the run in behind was Valentini. The two Steffens had momentarily switched flanks. Oh, Edwards has gone in with the studs, and he could be in trouble here.
Yeah, just a little bit high, nothing more than that. It was a late tackle. Studs are a little bit high, but there's no malice in it.
So the Avondale left back goes into the book. See there on the replay, it just bounced in front of him. He had to commit some sort of challenge, but it wasn't a legal one. Although it's cold out here, the dew seems to have held off, so the pitch hasn't got it maybe as slippery as it might have on
not as cold as it has
some
been,
other nights.
Steve.
Yeah.
It's certainly a lot warm. I say warmer. It's certainly not as cold as it has been over the last 3 or 4 nights, that's for sure. But I think we're going to see a substitution for Dandy Thunder very, very shortly. I think Soleimani might be making way.
I wonder if we'll see Jay Romanowski entering the fray at some point. Here's Wade Decker. Floats it on the left peg, and it was bouncing about the penalty area, but easily fielded by Manos, and he's rolling this one out in front of Yitte Towns to get the ball rolling for Stefan Valentini on the far side. He's got Wellsmore to support. 2 players that teamed up at Oakley last season, making the move to Avenger Park in the off-season. Yoshida goes to ground. Trojczewski says, "You pulled me down with you." Getting a little bit nasty. Wait, it's Ali Soleimani, in fact, that's got some advice for Zini and Trojczewski there. Referee Guderian handles the situation well and gets the ball rolling again. Now, Thunder's getting a bit more possession. Is it a case of Avondale sitting a bit deeper when they don't have the ball to what they were doing in the first half?
Well, I think what's happened, Steve, is well played from Manos there. I think what's happened is that the Dandy are now starting to play those longer balls, which is forcing Avondale to sit a little bit deeper. But as they sit deeper, and the gaps will open up in that middle of the park, and if they can get the Cheetahs and Carl Taylor's on the ball, it might just open up for them.
There you go, the excellent insight and wisdom of the great Craig Filer joining us in comms tonight. Great to be working with you again tonight, mate.
Yeah, it's been a while. Been a while.
We hope you're enjoying this contest. It's been absorbing for us from up here. We hope that translates to you on the TV screen or your laptop or your mobile phone on the go, wherever you're watching the Football Victoria live stream tonight. The final Dockerty Cup quarter-final for 2025 as these sides look to join the likes of Nunawading City, South Melbourne and Heidelberg United in the draw for the semi-finals tomorrow. Ball across the face of the goal. Zinni was the target from Valentini's cross, but the two Steffens are not on the same page this time.
Here's the substitution we were talking about, Steve. It is...
Looks like Romanovsky's ready to come on. And you're right, Suleimani is the man to be replaced.
Yes, I think might see a bit of a change here in formation, perhaps. Romanovsky more of a winger. I think he'll play a little bit higher. See, going to play on the right-hand side of those three.
Yeah, Romanovsky lined up.
And he's a player that does like getting forward, Steve.
Yeah.
So, and he's got some pace and certainly going to cause a few more problems for this Avondale defence.
He lined up on the left-hand side on Friday night against Heidelberg. He's getting a chance to show his wares on the other flank tonight then. Suleimani handing the armband to Thies van Amerongen, the big Dutchman. Here's Kalilu Kamara. Wellsmore charging forward into space. Aidan Edwards lost his footing and that just made it easier for Wellsmore to play the ball into the box. Oh, it's a late challenge again. And this time it looks like it's Hassan Jallo that's going to be going straight into the book. Well, I was just saying that the Jew was holding off and not getting too slippery out there. Players are starting to lose their feet, just as I've said that. Hassan Jallo into the book. He's the striker for something that might resemble a striker's challenge.
Yeah, he's been on the end of a few loose challenges tonight, but that one was definitely the other way, and it was a penalty. A well-deserved free kick and a yellow card. Dangerous position here for Dandy Thunder. The tall timber of Hayden Bryce.
Trajewski's delivery. Van Amerongen trying to clear it away. It's still there for Manny Agwek, who tried to put his foot through the ball. And somehow he's directed that miles off target. Couple of chances tonight for Manny Agwek, and they've both gone begging.
Yeah, it was more of a half chance. It was bobbling around. He just tried to poke it into the goal, but it's as you said, it was well wide.
Avondale have only conceded one goal so far in the cup competition. That was in their 4-1 win against Westgate earlier in the season in the fourth round of the competition, the round that the NPL Victoria clubs enter. And here's a touch for the substitute, Jay Romanovsky. Trying to slide it in for Rashida. Oh, it's a heavy touch by Zinni. And he's going to concede the throw in right down near the corner flag. This ground does slope heavily for drainage, and Stefan Zinni, who gets a full head of steam up, has so much pace he just couldn't slow down the fast feet to control that ball on that occasion there. And now Aidan Edwards is receiving from Taylor, and they're forced to go back to Van Amerongen. And here is Jamie Young well outside his penalty area this time, Craig.
Yeah, like I said, I'm surprised I've not seen a bit more of it tonight. It's pretty unique, and you don't see it very often in any type of football. But obviously, with the attacking threat that Avondale have, it's probably not a good idea tonight.
Switch by Clark, looking for Decker on the far side over there. He brought it down on his chest, but it was well away by Wellsmore. Trajewski, that's a good little ball.
Yeah, if they could get the head up here, Trajewski can get his head up here, Steve. We've got Steph Zinni in loads of space on this.
Well, here is Stefan Zinni, and again his feet were moving too fast for his mind there, you fancy, and he couldn't control the football.
Yeah, I think sometimes he's got bags of pace, hasn't he, Steph? And maybe his feet, as you said, just got the better of him there, and a tough, heavy touch, and good opportunity wasted.
Needless to say, I'd be happy if I could run that fast and bring the ball down, even if it was coming from 3 metres away, let alone 40. Up the field by Young. Wellsmore with the header again. Aidan Edwards. Clark. Oh, it's come unstuck here for Thunder. Towns rides one challenge.
Yeah, got to be a free kick.
Sheeta won the ball back, but the whistle had gone for the prior.
Yeah, looking for the advantage there was Puel, but it never came.
Good refereeing again by the young man.
We'll see another substitution here for Avondale.
It's going to be Courtney Perkins, the man who started at fullback on the weekend.
Yeah. Be interested to see who makes way for him. Maybe it is Stefan Zinni. Saw Zora Makowski asking if he was okay just before the previous sub, so it may be that Courtney Perkins will drop into that right back role, maybe. Definitely Valentini on this side and maybe push Wellsmore up, or the opposite. Making two actually.
Double, yeah. Double change. So it's Sian Cuba, the other player entering the fray. He's scored on the weekend. So it'll be a straight swap for Luca Tavir in midfield.
Yeah, as I thought, Valentini will come to this side and Courtney Perkins will go on the wing on the far side.
So a chance for Courtney Perkins to play as a genuine winger in the 4-3-3 system here. He's been forced to go back to fullback a lot this season in the league competition. Aidan Edwards, good control in a tight area. The decision goes against him from the liner though. Daniel Clark. He's got Dan Edwards to beat. All the way to the byline. Romanowski can float it in first time. Good defensive action by Valentini, but he's given away the free kick on the follow-through there after blocking the cross. Expert bit of play to get back and block the cross, but was there a flailing arm?
I think it was a flailing arm,
and he goes into the book for his troubles. Does the substitute, Steph Valentini. I don't think there was any intent to make contact there, but well, his momentum was travelling in that direction, and the medic is out to just check on the welfare of Romanowski. He might have copped one in the chops.
Yeah, certainly did. It was really interesting. Obviously, we've seen some subs there from Avondale, how they utilise their squad over the next month or so, given the fact that the winner of this does go into the Nationals, which could extend the season by another few weeks, and then of course they're straight into the NSD, which starts in October. So there's still a lot of football in Avondale season. So it's where a big squad's going to be really important to them.
Chance here for Thunder. It's in by Mehmeti to the back post area. Good header by Dan Edwards there. Held his ground well and repelled the danger.
Yeah, great head for Dan Edwards there. He's not the tallest, is he? But, certainly got up there and...
one of these short men who make up for it with a good vertical leap. That noise is it's like the quarry train rumbling past behind Tom Banos's goal at the moment. Thunder looking to make tracks that way there themselves at the moment as well. Yoshida giving chase, away by Edwards. Yoshida's not to be denied though as he picks up possession. Might have got a shove in the back from Trycheski, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a push in the back, but got away with it.
Gets the corner.
Yeah, managed to get his team a corner. This will be whipped in, I would have thought, into that 6-yard area. Runs from the back stick from Amarangan coming in deep.
Nelson Mehmedi gets some really good purchase on these in-swingers as he
there's that run.
Drives it in. Manos not taking any chances. Double fister to clear it away. Back to Mehmedi, who's got space to swing it into the back post. And they're lurking out there as well. Alessi was there with the header back across the goal. It was well played. One of the back three finding another, but they didn't quite have the final touch. Clever header by Alessi back across the goal face. Just needed another Thunder play to be on the end of it. And after a little bit of pressure, Avondale are going to try and get themselves back up the park and create another attacking opportunity. Oh, Manny Agwet looked like he had a pair of ice skates on there in the centre of Paisley Park. Here's Alessi. Almost like a leg glance, that pass around the corner by Daniel Clark, but he turns it over. Trycheski, enterprising run by the central midfielder out wide. He's got Mehmedi to beat. Can he get the cross in? He gets it to the near post. Diving header by Alessi. Agwek, standing start. Straight into the mitts for Jamie Young. And the experienced custodian isn't troubled. Good move by Trycheski out wide to get the ball in. Well, that was a little bit too tall for Jay Romanowski as the substitute was using all of his available centimetres to try and control that ball.
Yeah, that was some spike from Jamie Young there. It's,
almost a falcon.
Yeah, it had all the power in it. But much more even half this one, Steve. Dandenong Thunder having much more of the play in the Avondale half, which was missing in that first period. Just under 10 minutes left of normal time. Who's going to have that? Who's going to be the one that unlocks either defence and puts the ball in the back of the net and sends them into the Dockerty Cup semi-final and the national stage? Is somebody going to step up? We'll find out in the next 8 or 9 minutes.
That's right. Well, you can catch that draw for the Dockerty Cup tomorrow. See who your team gets. South Melbourne, Heidelberg and Nunawading City. That's right, Nunawading City. Fans of those three clubs will be waiting to see who will join them in the hat for the semi-finals.
A fantastic story that is, isn't it? Knocking off Hume City last week. Resounding result down there at Mahoney's.
Long way from here out in Melbourne's east.
Yeah.
It's a shame that venue maybe not quite up to scratch to host a national round of 32 game. The Australian Cup draw will take place next week. Ellsmore making some ground as he's going to try his luck here. Oh, Young was unmoved. Just for a moment, it looked like that might have been floating into the top left corner. Ellsmore slaloming run, the build-up to his famous goal against Sydney FC last year in the Australia Cup. Ended up shooting from a little bit further out and fraction more acute angle this time. Jamie Young knew where his posts were. It's a strong header by Bryce. Romanowski. Now Cuba, the substitute. A bit of head tennis. Taylor tries to control it out on the far side. Towns. Neat in the centre of the park. What are the coaches thinking now, Craig, as we get towards the end of the 90 with possibly extra time looming. We might just pause as Courtney Perkins is going to try shoot from distance. A bit too high, but one or two heart palpitations from the Dandenong Thunder fans here. As we see the likelihood of extra time growing and growing, what will both of the coaches be thinking now?
Yeah, they'll be looking. They'll be thinking. You know, the assistant coaches. They'll be working out different scenarios as the half draws to an end. But from a coach's perspective, they'll be still looking. There's still 5 or 6 minutes left of this game with any stoppage time, and there's still opportunity to win a game. So they'll be just thinking that, you know, could be a free kick. Yeah, no. No, trailing arm again then, but referee didn't see anything, or the linesman didn't see anything in it. It's a goal kick to Manus. But yeah, look, I think it's nothing really changes. The assistants will be looking at all the permutations, you know, what it looks like in that in extra time, Steve. But still a long way to go. Anything can happen. You've got 5 minutes plus any additional time, and there's been a few substitutions, so I'd imagine it'll be 3 or 4 minutes of extra time. So still potentially another 10 minutes in this game yet.
So the player being readied now is Mohamed Salamovsky, who started on Friday night in central midfield. So we'll wait to see who the player to come off is. He was replaced midway through the first half on Friday night by Aidan Edwards. So he won't have enjoyed being dragged before the halftime break.
No, it could be Jallo could make way perhaps. He looks to be limping a little bit, or Daniel Clark may come off. Yeah, it's Jallo that's going to come off, and Daniel Clark will probably move to that centre forward position, with Salamovsky just dropping into that 10, Steve.
Well, that's the end of the shift for Hassan Jallo. He's worked hard up front, been chopped down a few times and gone into the book for a late challenge himself. He can cool his jets and prepare for the game at Lakeside on Sunday. As we said, these clubs both playing league games on Sunday. In round 19 the following week, they'll play each other on Saturday afternoon at Avenger Park in round 20, which will be the first round after the transfer window opens. So there's going to be a lot happening on and off the field in that particular time, as Valentini needs to keep his feet here. He's got Edwards in support. A couple of Thunder players to beat ahead of him. One of them is Aidan Edwards. The two Edwards is competing. Trajewski, can he get the cross in here on the left peg? Back onto the right. Valentini pleading for the ball. He gets it now to the back post. It was a really good ball. Courtney Perkins making the running to the back post, and Jamie Young had to be there, or it would have been 1-0 to Avondale. Game getting a bit more stretched now, Craig.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Steve, the game's opening up now as we enter the final 3 minutes of normal time.
Well, again, Puya Gadirian was waiting for advantage there for Yuki Yoshida.
Yeah, good referee.
Daniel Clark had gone down, and he brings it back for the free kick to the Thunder. So they might throw Van Amerongen and some of the taller timber forward now. Well, taken quickly before he was able to get forward. So not sure if that was intentional or not. And Yuki Yoshida was in a pocket of space out there in front of the president's room. And he was flagged for offside. And it's going to be a break here for Sian Cuba. He's got bags of pace, and he's got Manny Aguek central. And Christian Trajewski had his shot blocked by Romanowski. Good opportunity for Avondale. The chances keep coming. Valentini at the near post. Van Amerongen with the clearance. Salamovsky. Avondale throwing down the gauntlet here in the final minutes of the second half of regular time, as extra time is looming here over these clubs as they look to get that spot in the national round of 32 of the Australia Cup and make it to the Dockerty semis for 2025. Last spot up for grabs for Victorian teams in those two competitions. We've got word about stoppage time as well,
it's going to be an additional 4 minutes, Steve. So 4 minutes. at the end of this second half period. What a time to score now.
Well, it'll be a hard way to get back for anyone if they do concede now. Here's Daniel Clark. Appealing for a handball, nothing doing. The tempo's gone up now. Cuba's ball, Agwek getting in behind. It's Manny Agwek, and it's past the upright. Oh, what a moment that could have been.
That's a fantastic ball from Chan Cuba there, splitting the defence, and yeah, you'd have to say it's a poor finish from Manny Agwek. He's had a few chances tonight, Steve, and really you'd have put your house on him hitting the target at least.
Manny Agwek, 15 goals in all competitions this season, looking for his third in the cup. Unable to hit the target. He's had a few gilt-edge opportunities tonight.
Yeah, that was probably the best of them, though, Steve. Clear sighted goal, Jamie Young to beat, and dragged it well wide.
Sion Cuba, a player who's in form, scoring on the weekend. Pretty handy player to come on as the fresh legs. And here he is, chasing down Daniel Alessi, who did well under pressure to find Wade Decker up the line. Dan Edwards keeps it in. Yitte Towns. Still he goes, Yitte Towns. Valentini over to the back post. Courtney Perkins trying to knock it down to Cuba. Yoshida gets it down the line. He was cleaned up a little bit late by Cuba, but might have been deemed to be a fair challenge. Or just incidental contact, perhaps. Wellsmore. Avondale getting a full head of steam up here in stoppage time, of which there is 4 minutes until we will go to extra time here. Jamie Young just controlling the tempo of things, using all of his experience. You can sense that Avondale are banging the door down here, and he just wants to control the tempo a little bit as he's going to send a long ball. A raking kick forward on his left peg. Clark's been clonked on the head as he won that header. And we're going to have a delay here. Hopefully Daniel Clark is okay to continue. He's put in a really good shift out there tonight, has Dan Clark.
He has, yeah. He's done a great job and worked very, very hard. He's getting on in his years now, but he's still a very good football player. Works really, really hard. Makes life difficult for any of his players.
7 goals in all comps for the 35-year-old Queenslander this season.
Jen, you talk about... Sorry, just hold off there.
Look at Ishida here, and here is Clark. He's back up on his feet, and he's making some running here. This is Daniel Clark!
What a chance. What a chance. I think as he kept in on his left-hand side there, Steve, I thought that was going to nestle in that top corner. It's a great run. It's a great ball from Yoshida there. Held his line. Came in on his left-hand side, tried to curl it in that top corner, and sent it wide. The Dandy Thunder bench was up. They thought that was in.
Well, you couldn't have had a better way had that gone in to make your first foray into the National Round of 32 in the Australia Cup in the history of your club for Dandenong Thunder. That would have been something special. Valentini wins the header. Trycheski is onside here. This is Christian Trycheski.
Jamie Young again.
And Jamie Young comes up big when Trycheski probably should have scored there. A goal that would have put Avondale into the cup only moments after Daniel Clark had almost scored at the other end. High drama in second half stoppage time here in the Dockerty Cup quarter-final. Jamie Young, he's put in a string of amazing saves. His left hand, his right hand, and now with the feet.
Zora Makovsky's going absolutely spare down here on the touchline. I'm not sure whether it's because Tchaikovsky missed that one or another fantastic save from Jamie Young. Either way, the game finishes in 0-0, and we get another 30 minutes of this, Steve.
Well, let's just go back and take a look at that replay of that opportunity that fell to Christian Tchaikovsky. The long header forward by Bryce, flick on by Valentini.
He looked offside as well there, but either way, it was a fantastic save from Jamie Young again. Keeps his side in the tie, and we head into 30 minutes of extra time, Steve.
Well, I think Christian Trajewski might have had too much time there, as he was unable to pick a spot to put it past Jamie Young to seal what would have been progression into the Dockerty Cup semi in the national round of 32 for the Australia Cup. So sides are coming in, have a chat, and coaches will be trying to put together the best game plan that will serve their players that they've got available to them for the next 30 minutes. A fair few subs have already been used, but there's still a few up their sleeve as well. Avondale unused subs include Massimo D'Argenio, Ethan Pisani. Other than that, it's just the sub keeper Mayan available to Zoran Markowski for Adam Pinnock on the bench. There's still Liram Almazi, Jock Akurian, Angus Edwards, the youngster, as well as the sub keeper Ben McCauley. So limited options still available for the coaches, but you can see Adam Pinnock right in front of our broadcast position. The great shots coming to you from Sam behind the camera here.
Yeah, two big team talks going to happen here, Steve. It's a lot of mentality now. It's about keeping organised, keeping disciplined, keeping to the game plan of what the coaches have asked you to do. And, hopefully somebody can prevail without it going to penalties, because nobody likes to see anybody go out on penalties. And we've got a fantastic 90 minutes, and for those watching at home, strap yourselves in, because you've got another 30 minutes of this.
That's right. We've got, as they call it, free football coming your way. As the captains going in for the coin toss with referee Gadirian. Aidan Bryce gets the call. He's saying he wants to continue attacking the golf course end, the Altona Lakes.
What a finish we had there, Steve. Last 10 minutes of the game was pretty fruitful, wasn't it? There was chances at both ends, and Daniel Clark there was just saying, he mentioned his age, 35. We talk about Jamie Young being in the shape that he is at 39. Daniel Clark's just 4 years younger and an outfield player, and keeps himself looking really trim, really fit. Testament to him and his discipline of a footballer. But some great opportunities there, and I'm sure we're going to get some more.
Well, it shows you what you can do with the experience you have, even if you start to lose a yard of pace. He's not really relying on that in the role that he's playing, and we thought he was retired last year, Daniel Clark, and he nearly scored a goal that would have gone down in history as one of the greatest for Dandenong Thunder.
Just shows you the fantastic job that Adam Pinnock and his coaching staff have done this year, Steve. When you talk about last year and him coming in, and they were many pundits' favourites for the drop this year, but he's proved them wrong. He's got them into that top three, and still in the league, still in the Dockerty Cup as we stand.
Well, it could be a famous season.
Fantastic season,
if they're to recreate. It's 2012, they were the winners of the state knockout cup, as it was known that season, beating Port Melbourne 5-4 on penalties in the final back in 2012. They made the final in 2013 as well, and losing to Green Gully. They haven't made a final of the Dockerty Cup since. But they'd only be a game away if they can get over Avondale somehow here tonight. And Daniel Clark was only inches away from providing that killer blow that would have sunk the Avengers tonight. Only moments before, Christian Trajewski probably should have slotted the ball past Jamie Young, who's been sensational tonight.
What a signing he's been for Adam Pinnock and Dundee Thunder this year.
Saying they didn't have too many big-name signings in the off-season. They brought in Hassan Jallo, a player who we've seen him here at Altona Magic in the past. Hasn't played a heap of football in Victoria, but apart from a couple of others, Jamie Young has been as good as 2 signings. He's had that much of an impact in goal this season. Here's Yoshida. Another player who's had a big impact and in contention for the team of the season in NPL Victoria with some of his early season form in particular. Yuki Yoshida. Long ball into the corner. It will just be a bit of extra mileage for Tom Manos to come out and get a touch of the football. We are into the second phase of this one. Extra time to decide this between Avondale and Dandenong Thunder. Locked at 0-0. Somehow we haven't been managing to find anyone to trouble the scorers tonight, as one of these teams tries to join Nunawading, Heidelberg and South Melbourne in the semi-finals of the Dockerty Cup for 2025. Trycheski in the tight space. He was cleaned up by Yoshida. Free kick for the Avengers. Hope you're enjoying this contest. Keeping warm and enjoying some extra time action here between Avondale and the Dandy Thunder. So we chase the first goal of the game, a goal that could see one of these sides progress. As Yite Towns has been out there for the full match so far. His cross was along the ground, so not much use. Walesmore's cross was also along the ground as well, but trying to get through with the fancy feet was Courtney Perkins. He ran into a wall of red and black. It's up the field by Salamovsky. Salamovsky's only been out there for a few minutes since coming on off the bench. Thunder sitting deep behind the ball here. Valentini in space. Trying to get to the byline. Romanovsky is the man to beat. Oh, appeals for a handball.
Yeah, half-hearted shout, Steve, wasn't it?
It all happened very quickly and it ricocheted through to Jamie Young. Referee Gadirian unmoved. The Thunder's penalty shot in the first half of regular time was certainly a more vociferous one than that. So Avondale, who did the double over the Thunder last year, 2-1 at Avenger Park and 8-0 at George Andrews.
Yeah, different side this year, Steve. Very, very different. Dandy Thunder, very well organised, very well structured.
They've been in some good form, the Thunder, scoring 40 goals, only 24 against in the league. And enjoying a good cup run, and they're enjoying themselves out there tonight. And here's Kyle Taylor. Oh, he was trying to play it through for Decker, who was making the run. And again, well read down Edwards. Not the first time we've said that tonight. Well brought down, Agwick. So who will blink first in this contest as the Thunder try and build up down their left-hand side? Clark. This is Aiden Edwards. It's a good ball through. Clark picks up the loose ball again. Salamovsky out there on the far side, who's making a good impact, injecting himself into this game. There's a late substitute coming on in the latter moments of the second half of regular time. Does look like he's lining up as one of those 2-10s, as you predicted, Craig. And here he is here again, Salamovsky. Ricocheted off Kalilu Kamara. And South Aussie's holding his ground well, and he plays it forward to Towns. Here's Courtney Perkins. Playing the 1-2 with Towns. Avondale want to get the ball out to this side of the pitch, and they do now. Here's Edwards in acres of space with Valentini ahead of him. Doesn't waste any time in getting it forward to the winger. Stefan Valentini draws a crowd. Good challenge, Romanowski.
Yeah, good defending.
You feel the tempo has slowed a bit. I guess it's just symptomatic of what's at stake now, if anyone is to make a mistake.
Yeah, I think so, Steve. I think it's as I said earlier on, it's very much cat and mouse now. Who's gonna blink first? Who's gonna make that mistake? And neither team will want that.
Hayden Edwards has only succeeded in passing it straight to Dan Edwards. Just knew we're going into this game with these two sides, second and third in the league, so evenly matched that we might still be here at this time of night, and that's the way it's panned out as we are in the first period of extra time. If you have just joined us, strap yourselves in for an exciting 30 minutes or so to come here as Dan Edwards looks to get the ball into the box. Agwek. Well played, Taylor. Calm and composed in his own penalty area, and he finds Ishida. Clark's being pushed to the floor by Aiden Bryce, the big central defender, wandering out into the wide area and cleaning up his opponent, but I guess not a bad place to give away a foul.
Yeah, give a foul there all day long. All day long, slows play down, stops the break. See that Dandy have pushed another player forward now, so good goalkeeping. Pushed another player forward now, so they're 4 in attack when they've got the ball. As you said, Avondale haven't got any subs left, I don't believe, have they? Or they might have one.
They've got D'Argenio and Pisani, the two 21-year-olds that they might be able to call on if they have a window remaining. Thunder just sitting off a little bit. Manny Agwex wandered out to the wide area. He's just conceded possession to Kyle Taylor. Solomovsky sliding in. Trycheski wins it back well. Cuba, we've seen him shoot from these sorts of positions before. He scored a cracking goal from about 25 yards in the cup at the home of the Matildas last season, that in a moment when the feed had cut out and the vision was lost forever, but I can assure you it was a sensational long-range goal by Sion Cuba.
Great feat.
Look at Trycheski getting into the box here. Puts his hands on his head in frustration as he couldn't find a teammate in a better position, but he does win his side a corner kick. And the Thunder, they've defended the corner kicks from Avondale very well so far tonight. You can hear Jamie Young through our effects mic there, organising his troops. It's going to be Cuba to take. It's driven in. Punched by Young. Just about away by the Thunder. Bryce. Rashida's header. Kamara with the juggle. Can he find space for the shot? Wellsmore. And the defence does its job again for the Thunder from the set piece. Avondale retaining possession. Edwards, he's got space for the cross. He gets it in early. It bounces across the face. Cuba's at the back post. This is Sion Cuba. The shot was well blocked. It's going to be another corner.
Great ball in from Daniel Edwards again there, wasn't it? You know, whipped across with pace. Any little touch on that in the 6-yard box, and it's
in by Wellsmore, and Edwards with the opportunity, and it was straight down the middle of Jamie Young's goal.
How many times have we said that tonight, Steve?
Well, he's saved to his left and he's saved to his right. And he saved with his feet. And he's had a few that have just come straight to him. Decker's going to win a free kick here against Bryce, who's given away a couple of free kicks in the last few minutes. Thunder are unhappy that the ball was kicked away after the whistle had gone. For Ugadirians, just urging some calm. Now it is taken quickly. Decker can face forward here, and Daniel Clark looking to cross. Taylor from the byline. Oh, good claim by Manos.
Yeah, great ball in from Carl Taylor there, just held it up, but fantastic hands from Tom Manos.
Oh, if Courtney Perkins had been able to keep that ball in, and he urges to Manos to say, just kick that ball a little bit further to the left, I would have been able to keep it in, it would have been in. But nonetheless, across the touchline, here's Valentini. Stefan Valentini trying to supply the cross. And Tiesvan Amarongan with the intervention. Cuba picking up the ball here. Sian Cuba, will he try and shoot? He floats it into the back post. It's Courtney Perkins. Saved into the post by Young. Jamie Young is a man possessed tonight. You try and get the ball past him. Wow.
He's pulled off some saves tonight, I have to say. Hasn't had a lot to do during the game, but when he has, he's been unbelievable. And that's some save again, right? Reactions just to get that after coming back off a post. Yeah, fantastic performance from the veteran keeper. I don't think Zora Markowski and the coaching staff can quite believe what they've seen tonight from him.
Well, we were joking earlier tonight, but if the Club World Cup in the United States isn't doing it for you, maybe the Dockerty Cup will, and this performance tonight from Jamie Young has been right out of the top drawer. Saving from Courtney Perkins there, and Courtney Perkins thought he had to score. Soren Markowski can't believe it.
Yeah, he just looked up us there and held his hands up as if to say, what else can we do?
What have we got to do? Well, the Thunder fans and players alike are growing in hope from seeing the heroics by their shot stopper, who's come up trumps tonight.
How good is it, though, to see someone of Jamie Young's ability and, you know, the standards that he's had to set himself and the teams that he's played for, playing in the NPL at this level, Steve?
This must have been such a treat for the Thunder fans this season and his young teammates, because the standards that he would set on the training park would be...
I'd imagine he's fantastic in and around the change rooms and all that sort of stuff. You know, you're right, standards in the change room, standards on the pitch. You know,
be through the roof.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end of the first period of extra time being completed. We'll wait the fourth official, Momcilo Veselinov, to confirm any additional time at the end of the first 15 minutes.
Just the 1 minute, I believe, Steve. The board will be going up any second.
Here's Ishida. It might open up here for Yuki Ishida. He's forced back by Trzeski. It's floated in away by Kamara. It was Memeti's ball into the box. Kamara threw himself at it, and Sian Cuba's ball is expertly provided to Courtney Perkins, who floats it in. Cuba getting on the end of it. Sian Cuba, and Manny Agwek fires over from close range. Jamie Young with the save, and he will not be beaten. Manny Agwek can't believe that he hasn't broken the deadlock, though. This is unbelievable scenes here in extra time at Paisley Park in the Dockerty Cup quarterfinal.
I'm always speechless at the performance of Jamie Young tonight. You know, he's just pulled off another great save there, and you know, Avondale will hope that they get this done in the next 15 minutes, Steve, because I'm telling you, you don't want to be facing Jamie Young on a penalty. Not the form he's in tonight. I've seen it firsthand of just how big he makes himself in those areas, and we've seen it in open play tonight. He's a giant of a keeper.
Well, they'll certainly back themselves in if they're able to see the score remain at 0-0 after the second period of extra time. They did, of course, the same feat against Green Gully Cavaliers. I won't remind you about that one again, Craig. Sorry, 4-2 on Pens after 0-0 at the end of the 120.
can't remember it, Steve.
And that's probably why the urgency seems to be increasing here from the boys in blue, the Avengers. Towns' ball to Wellsmore. Decides against floating the ball in, and now it does come in from Wellsmore. It's nodded away by Mehmedi, and that will be the end of the first period of extra time. And the best chance of that period, apart from the one from Courtney Perkins, had to be the one that fell to Manny Agwek, who tried to launch it into the roof of the net. Looking back at the replay, you could see what he was trying to do. It looked like a bad miss on the surface, but Jamie Young still had to be beaten, so it was probably a little harder than it looked at first glance.
Yeah, look, I think he just tried to put it into that, the roof of the net, because that was really the only place he could put it. But it was a little bit heavy off his foot, and it sailed over the bar. And as we head towards the second half of extra time, the Dandenong faithful head to the golf course end to support their players in this next 15 minutes of scintillating football. It's been a fantastic cup tie. Fantastic.
It's one of the things you see at these cup ties is the fans looking to follow their team up and down the pitch, and no doubt they'll be making their way around behind the goals if it does go to penalties, those Thunder fans. But they've made the long trip out here to Altona North tonight to Paisley Park to watch their team, and well, they've been entertained. There's a few Avondale fans to our right, but certainly the biggest contingent is the travelling fans that have come from Melbourne Southeast, enjoying themselves tonight and enjoying what they've seen from the 39-year-old Jamie Young. There's no official man of the match award in this fixture, but we'll give it to him now already.
He's got it now.
Has daylight second.
He's trying desperately to find some pickle juice, Steve.
Goalkeepers don't need the pickle juice, do they?
I wouldn't have thought so, but he is 39, mate, and he's done a lot of work. Oh, he's found some, and there we go. He's going to get some energy into him now for this next 15 minutes.
All right, so do we get a goal to separate these sides in the next 15 minutes, or do we go to penalties? We were hoping to get home early tonight, but willing to be a late arrival back at home to see some great action like we've seen tonight. It's been sensational. Don't be fooled by the scoreline saying 0-0. It's been so entertaining to watch these two sides, second and third in the league, battling it out for that spot in the national round of 32 and the Dockerty Cup semis as well. It's a bit of a walking wounded out there for some players. Looks like Wade Decker's being held up as he looks to relace his shoes.
Yeah, big 15 minutes now for both sides.
Here we go for the second period. Steve Curtin and Craig Filer here, thanking you for your company in this contest tonight. Jamie Young, the man who's been impossible to beat tonight for the Thunder. But will there be another storyline for the end of the 120? And here's the question now, as Avondale are in possession, trying to build up something here. Courtney Perkins is the target here of the diagonal. And as Avondale try and catch the Thunder a little bit cold after the change of ends. Taylor, bit of space in front of him. Over towards Yoshida, those two combining time and time again this evening. Agwick, and now Towns. That's a great ball by Ute Towns. Takes out three defenders and finds Agwick, who can cut it back here, and Alessi's done well to repel the danger. Getting back into the right position, anticipating the cross. What a ball by Ute Towns, though.
Yeah, superb ball, Steve. You know, at pace. And splitting the defenders and, you know, right into the running area of Manny Agwek, who just couldn't get the ball into Stefan Valentini in the centre of the 18-yard box.
You talk about players with a good range of passing. Manny Agwick did not need to break stride to receive that pass from USA Towns. Wellsmore's pass to Courtney Perkins, throwing the step-overs at his opponent, which was Selimovsky. Here's Clark, who's the most advanced player. Of course, Hassan Jello has been subbed out of the game. Unless he gets it forward quickly. He was under pressure, so he was forced. His hand was forced, and he turns over possession here to Dan Edwards. Trycheski. Wellsmore, who's got a bit more of a taper to the back of that hairstyle than I realised from the other side of the pitch. Gets it across, in space. It's Agwick. Oh, and his shot was blocked well by Romanovsky.
Just looks like the Dendy team here is starting to get a little bit tired, Steve. Starting to look a little bit jaded. Certainly Avondale looked the fresher. Actually put some fresh legs on towards the end of that half. I think we might see some changes soon from Dandy, just to add some bit more of impetus in there, a little bit more fresh legs.
Courtney Perkins across. Romanovsky knocks it behind to concede the corner kick. There's a couple of possible substitutes, a couple of players that are warming up. Liram Almazi, who knows this ground very well.
He certainly does.
The other one is Jock Akuian. Seen action in the league 8 times this season. Got to defend this corner kick here for Avondale as it's in by Cuba. Doesn't beat the first man, who's Sheeta, rising high to nod that one away.
I wonder what Adam Piddock will do here with the substitutions he's got. So obviously, Liram Almazi is predominantly a centre-back. Did play a lot of football as a centre midfield 6 for South Melbourne over the...
Here goes Valentini. Oh, and Jamie Young called into action again, a strong right hand. And he had to really repel that ball out of play altogether because they were queuing up to get the rebound. Were the players in blue shirts in the penalty area. He concedes another corner kick. Good play through the middle by Trycheski, finding Valentini. Shot driven across the goal. In by Cuba. It's away by Aidan Edwards. It's Wellsmore one way, then the other. Good skill. Bryce. Valentini at full stretch. He had Mehmeti to beat, and then he had Decker as well. Forced back to Bryce. Everyone behind the ball here for the boys in red and black. I think you're right, Craig. They are looking like they're tiring.
Yeah, they're tiring, Steve. They certainly look the fitter. I think two players coming on now. Be interested to see what Adam Piddock does. Whether Liram Almazi will pop into the centre of the park, or whether he'll go as a 3 at the back and push Rosmovsky on a little bit.
Agwick running at Romanovsky. Manny Agwick drives it across the face of the goal. Valentini outside of the foot. Goal! Valentini breaks the deadlock. And at long last, Jamie Young is beaten. And it's that man, the scorer of their Dockerty Cup winning goal all those years ago against Hume City. Presented with the easiest of opportunities. And he took it really well. And he gives Avondale the lead. Yeah,
good little goal. That saw the little space in that corner. Just used the outside of his foot and curled it into that top corner. Got out of his feet very well. Yeah, it's a good finish. It's a good finish.
Outside of the boot finish by Steph Valentini. A piece of skill that you'd expect to see from such a talented player. Technical ability. There's that double change for the Thunder. They need to find a goal now, so the situation and the equation completely changes for Adam Piddock now.
Yeah, I think Liram Almazi is going to go up front, Steve. I think it's looks like a 3-5-2.
Well, they've got to go for it now, so he certainly brings a lot of height. He can bring a bit of physicality. He's got experience as well. Almazi, 26 years of age. Over 100 games at NPL level, Victoria's top tier. This is Akuian, the other substitute, who looks like he's lining up down the left-hand side.
Yeah, for Wade Decker.
It would have been quite a shift from the school teacher, Wade Decker. So all to do now for the Thunder. Jamie Young heroics have got them so far.
Yeah, you could see it coming, Steve. You know, they were tiring. You could just see their legs are slowly going on Thunder. And
here's Edwards.
now it's about now it's about the mental strength of Dandy. What have they got left in the tank? What have they got that they can bring to the table in this next, 7 or 8 minutes?
Wellsmore down holding the back of his left leg. Jock Akuian quickly taking the throw. And they need to move quickly, the Thunder. Forward by Alessi, and he finds Taylor. Can he inspire his troops somehow? Jock Akuian trying to get in behind Wellsmore, and it's well played by Wellsmore, and he's won the free kick for his side too. A really handy free kick for Avondale to win. They can just take their time over the restart. Bit of a cramp issue here for Wellsmore. Referee Gadiran indicating that the watch is stopping for these incidences. So they've been valiant tonight, the Thunder, but is there another twist in the tail tonight?
Yes, it's going to happen. It's going to have to happen pretty quickly. Thomas Manus here just taking a little bit of wind at the sails and slowing everything down, which we'll probably see a lot of in the next 5 or 6 minutes.
It was a really good free kick to win from the Avengers' point of view, and Avondale's junior system over at Fairbairn Park have been having a live stream of the game in the social rooms there tonight. Hello if you've been tuning in there. You've enjoyed the broadcast on the Football Victoria live stream from Fairbairn Park there in Ascot Vale near the banks of the Maribyrnong. It's getting a bit willing out there now. If Sheeta's won a free kick, he wants to take it quickly, and he has done. Here's Clark. Floats it into the box. Almazi was there, the substitute. Wellsmore just about gets it away. That'll do, as far as Avondale's concerned. Just looking a little bit rattled here, some of the Avondale defenders. We haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah, put a bit of pressure on them now. With the change in formation, 3-5-2, it'll be a lot of pumping balls into that box now, I would imagine. You have to be really switched on.
It's a good pass to find Cuba from Yitte Towns, who's been great during this extra time period. Offside. And Manny Agwig is going to be flagged offside.
It could be a book in there as well. Yeah.
Manny Agwig goes into the book for kicking the ball away, delaying tactics. There's a chance for Yoshida. Trajewski giving chase. Yuki Yoshida. Oh, and it was too close to the keeper. Daniel Clark was lining up at the back post. He went to ground. He would be suffering a bit of cramp there, but there's no time to lie down and stretch it out here for the Thunder players.
Yeah, he's put a big shift in, Daniel Clark. Remember, 35 years old, played he's going to play 120 minutes of football here.
He's played well.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
Dan Edwards. Bryce. Romanowski not backing down, concedes the throw. So inside the last 5. 4 minutes plus whatever is added on at the end. That's all that Thunder have got left. Agwork is down on the floor, and this will ensure that we will have a bit of added time at the end of the 120. been a cracking game of football over the 120 on a cool night here. 9 degrees currently in Altona North. Matty Agwick has managed to not get himself on the score sheet tonight.
A few tired bodies out there now, Steve, and Kamara's there stretching his calves and his hamstrings. And what have Dandy Thunder got left, Steve? Just over 4 minutes of regulation time to play. It's not going to be much of any injury time.
Courtney Perkins can kill it off here if he can find some space to try and beat Jamie Young. Tings van Amerongen, the Dutchman, is not going to be beaten though. Romanowski attempts the clearance, charged down and out for a throw in front of the President's room there on the far side. There's not long to go for Avondale, and they can book their spot in the national round of 32 for the 4th time in their history. And they usually do go on a deep cup run as well, twice in the round of 16 and once going all the way through to the quarterfinals of the National Cup competition. That's a good header by Alessi. Still full of running, Dan Alessi. A player who's been out there for the full 120 or near enough to 120 minutes now.
I think Avondale just making just going to make a substitution. Probably Kamara's looking to come off, I would imagine. Seen him stretching a few times in the lap.
Here's space for Agwick. Manny Agwick going the long way around. Cuba. Do they pull the trigger here? Valentini, Cuba, the queuing up. Sian Cuba, is there a way through here? Oh, it's a wall of red and black.
A very tight clearance, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, Valentini, you could see what he was trying to do, but he couldn't get any purchase or any bend on that shot. Massimo D'Argenio is going to be a bit of a tactical change here. Takes a bit more time off the clock. Chance for the 21-year-old to get a minute. Manny Agwick, who, well, it opened up for him again there, but I think he's terrified of the sight of Jamie Young when he's got the ball at his feet.
Yeah, but nightmares tonight, wasn't he?
Dandenong Thunder fans, needless to say, frustrated that Manny Agwick isn't running off the pitch, but he's entitled to make his way over the technical area now, as the time will be added on. We've got, how many minutes are we expecting to have added on, Craig?
No, I can't see there'll be many, Steve. 2-3 at the maximum, I would have thought. There's not going to be... there's been a few stoppages, but Avondale will want it to finish as quick as possible. Danda was one as long as possible, so...
It's almost last roll of the dice territory as we reach the 120. Momcilo Vasilinov, the 4th official, has got the board ready to go up as he checks his watch.
Yeah, it is going to be 3 minutes, Steve.
So that is all that there is available for the Thunder. As an ally, here is their number 3, Lessie. Taylor. It's a good ball for Clark. Romanowski, the substitute. Dan Edwards, who's done a power of running, clears that one away. So they're almost there, the Avengers. Forward by Young. Lessie went in firmly on Krajewski. And it's open here for Sian Cuba. Just sat up a little bit on the turf. Allowed the Thunder defenders to get back, but he's going to try and run right through in between them.
Probably the wrong option there. A ball wide or take it into the corners probably would have been the option, and probably what the coaching staff of Avondale would have wanted, but he didn't.
He lived to regret that moment. Away. Chase there. Salomovsky sliding in. It's going to be a throw to the Thunder. Avondale got a player down. Thunder are going to continue on.
One good ball, one attack.
Into the back post. Here they come, and tapped over by Manos. Well, it needed a touch.
Here we go, Jamie Young.
Jamie Young time.
Couldn't, could he? He's done everything else tonight, right?
He's had that kind of a game. He's been urged on by the Thunder fans to our left. Going over to take the in-swinger is the left foot of Mercer Mehmedi.
And he does have a fantastic delivery on him, so he gets this one right.
In it comes to the 6-yard box. Young was lurking. Cuba's header was back across his own goal there. Alessi combining with Akuyan, and Kamara's gone to ground. He's going to need to get back up. Jock Akuyan with the throw. The substitute who sends it forward towards Alessi. Trycheski, they can't afford to foul him here, the Thunder. Towns. Jamie Young is motoring back towards his own goal, but Valentini is looking for his second of the evening. Stefan Valentini, and he couldn't have taken it better. And Avondale are going to go through to the Dockerty Cup semi-finals. And they're going to make the Australia Cup National Round of 32 for a 4th time in their history as well. And Stefan Valentini has been the difference on the night.
Yeah, good finish. It was inevitable, wasn't it, that they were pushing for that that equaliser, and the space was going to open up behind. And fantastic break. Stefan Valentini kept on side. Ball was played over the top, and a great finish. And as the players celebrate, Andy Vargas gets booked, I think, for running across the pitch. He's joined in with the celebrations. He's probably run more than he did when he was playing football. But he's obviously a very happy man. Gets his booking, and Avondale is safely through to the Dockerty Cup semi-final and the national stages.
I hope he put his GPS in the back of his jacket there. I was pretty pleased with things there. They had to work hard for that. They finally got their nose in front in second half of extra time. Steph Valentini, the substitute. Crafty finish with the outside of the right foot to go ahead, and then that one to seal it after Jamie Young had come up for the corner kick. Thunder were exposed at the back. It'd be only fair if the Thunder was able to get one back to add a little bit of respectability here, something to go on with. They've put in an amazing shift tonight, this Dandenong Thunder side. To no avail at the end. And that will be it. Avondale advance. Thunder's run is over in the Cup in 2025. But it's jubilation for the Avengers. And it's Stefan Valentini, the man who's broken down that Dandenong Thunder defence that looked impenetrable, mainly because of the standout performer tonight for them, which was Jamie Young.
Oh, fantastic game of football, Steve, for the neutral, for everybody involved. And fantastic game of football. Two teams that really play some fantastic, free-flowing football. And unfortunately, somebody's got to win these games. And unfortunately for Dandy Thunder, they just didn't have. They just didn't have the killer instinct in front of goal tonight. Only really had one clear chance, I believe, from memory, and that was Daniel Clark's just before the end of 90 minutes. But they can be proud. It's a tough place to come and play football at the best of times on this pitch, and to play against a team like Avondale and take them to 120 minutes is fantastic. But they're having a great season, and I'm sure they'll go on now and concentrate on that league position. Yeah. For Avondale, obviously they're into the Dockerty Cup semi-final against one of South Melbourne, Nunawading or Heidelberg.
Yeah, you can catch that draw on the Football Victoria channel on YouTube tomorrow. So we'll see who gets through, who gets drawn against one another in those semi-finals of the Dockerty Cup. And we've got our 4 sides as well, decided 4, unfortunately not 5 like previous years. We do have 4 Victorian sides with the obligatory 1 side from the 3rd tier. Last year Melbourne Servia, this year it's Nunawading City. Obligatory, I say that tongue-in-cheek. Who will make the Australia Cup draw. That will be on next week. I think Wednesday night you can catch that Australian Cup draw as well to see who our Victorian sides are drawn against, and hopefully our Victorian sides can have a very good cup run. We talk about Avondale when they make the Australia Cup. They haven't lost in the round of 32. They've always made it to at least the round of 16. And they've also made it to the quarterfinals as well. So big year ahead for Avondale with the National Second Division coming as well. Football almost 52 weeks of the year.
Yeah, look, it's a big squad. It's a very talented squad, and they'll be over the moon. They're in both cup competitions still, and yeah, look forward to the draw tomorrow and next week for the nationals.
Well, as Avondale are presented with their national round of 32 qualification flag out in the pitch, and they are happy because they had to work very hard to get the win tonight against a determined Dandenong Thunder defence. Jamie Young coming up with some really big saves to deny the likes of Manny Agwek and Kalalu Kamara from close range, and many more as well. A sensational performance by the 39-year-old. It wasn't enough in the end. Stefan Valentini, the substitute, was the difference. 2 goals in the second half of extra time. We hope you've enjoyed this one. We've been thoroughly entertained. Big thank you, Sam, behind the camera for going the 120. Craig Filer, it's been great to work with you again.
You too, mate.
I've been Steve Curtin. Thanks for your company, everyone at home. And stay tuned for that draw of the Dockerty Cup semi-finals coming away on the Football Victoria live stream tomorrow, plus plenty of great NPL Victoria action coming your way this weekend in round 19 of the competition. It's just getting started, just hotting up now towards finals. And wish you a good evening from Paisley Park. It's a full-time score. Avondale 2, Dandenong Thunder 2. 2 goals by Stefan Valentini is the difference. Avondale march on in the cup football for 2025.